Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler, and today we have an incredible guest, a great friend of mine, a mindset mentor, working with an absolute legend, Bob Proctor. Sheena Cantar is on the show today. Before I bring Sheena into the broadcast, I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Craig Shelley, Beverly Hills, luxury watches and fine jewellery at craigshelley.com. We are streaming live on mspnewsglobal.com. We're live on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. We're on so many platforms, and we're also on the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes. So check us out there, and we're going live on Android TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, and many more. So I am going to bring in the amazing Sheena Cantar. Sheena, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It's wonderful to be here.
Sheena, I am really looking forward to a conversation with you today. We have got to know each other a lot over this last year, maybe longer. We have collaborated. We've done lots of projects together. You really do like supporting people to improve their results, to get better health, better lifestyles, to make more money. You're also working alongside an absolute legend who has helped me with mindset skills so much, the amazing Bob Proctor. So take us back a little bit, Sheena. I want to know about your past and your background, the obstacles you have faced, what have led you to do what you do today.
Yeah, well, just when you say that obstacles, it's like, funny. It's like I didn't get to 52 without having a few obstacles. I'm sure there's plenty of people outside there, know about that. And so one of the things is that, from an early age, we're told something, aren't we? And like I was told, well, sure, you're not academic, Sheena, so you be a secretary. I mean, the last thing I knew it was that you actually had to study to be a secretary and pass some exams. So you do have to, have something about you. But whenever I was 19 and I went to join the RAF and I did an IQ test, and I came out literally, would you believe, Mark, 160, which is something ridiculous. Apparently that's a genius. That makes me a genius. But you know what? I didn't know what that meant. They said, we want you to be an officer. We want you to join as an officer. Here's the training. I was bypassing the interviews. I was so embarrassed, Mark, that I literally didn't tell anybody, and I skimpered away and actually just decided that I didn't tell anybody, and I would just be a secretary somewhere else. And so that was one of the things that I realized, that self-image was a big thing. Now, then the next thing is that, my marriage split up, blah, blah, blah. But what I did was I took all that energy, that negative energy, and I decided to get a degree. And I went, oh, I can study, I can pass exams. And I didn't stop then. So I literally carried on master's level in business, Reiki, NLP, hypnotherapy, coaching. And then I had so much knowledge, but then something happened. I literally lost everything at one point. I mean, I have this little bit of a joke story driving down the M56 in the UK in a white van with a couch. And that was everything that I had left at the age of 48 for all the hard work. I thought, Mark, somebody's lying to me. Somebody said that if you worked hard, got all your qualifications, that you'd be okay. And that didn't really happen. So I knew that I had to take some absolute drastic action. And I'd looked around, I'd been studying personal development for the last 10 years. And I looked at who was the best in the industry, who'd been doing it the longest, who made it simple. And it was Bob Proctor. And I decided, right, I am going to go and study with that man. I am done with this nonsense. And so that's what took me. It took me to lose everything to go and realize and wake up that I didn't know it all. Bob did. And I'd go and find out a little bit more. So that's where it got me here today. Short and sweet. A lot more in between, Mark. But, I'm worried about time.
Let's dig into this a little bit. So you have been told that you're not very academic and that you should become a secretary. And then you went on to do an IQ test that made you come out as a genius. Then obviously you've worked to a certain level, but then at the age of 38, you have
48,
lost
48.
38.
48.
48.
48, yeah.
At the age of 48, which is even better for what I'm going to say next, actually. So at the age of 48, you have lost it all, and then that has took you on a path to go inwards and start working on self-improvement mindset to then help you to create the reality that you have created today. So I didn't really start to work on my self-improvement till the age of 30, and I considered that was quite late in years. Now you're 48, lost everything, and then you have had to rebuild, which you've done an amazing job at. What advice would you give to people who may be struggling right now, Sheena, who have lost their jobs, who have been made employed, who have got to take a new direction? Because the message I am hearing from you, it's never too late.
Oh my goodness, no. I mean, it's a vision, and the vision has to be attached to a why. So when I was at my lowest point, I wanted to do what everybody said. They said, get up at 5 o'clock, do this, do that, do your miracle mornings, but they weren't working. They just weren't working. But what I did is that when I woke up and my alarm went off and I didn't want to get out of bed, I would say to myself, oh, right, so your kids don't matter. This doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I mean, I attached it basically to my 2 children, which was nearly my downfall as well, but that's another story. And so that's the thing, was I attached it to a why. I had a vision. I had a why. I was changing a legacy. I no longer wanted my family to go through all this work, all this effort to end up with nothing. Somebody was lying somewhere along the way, and I wanted to change that pattern. And so I attached it to the biggest why that I could. And that got me out of bed, because as soon as I would say to myself, all right, so that doesn't matter, I would go, no, I'm up. And I made a decision every morning, Mark. I made the decision every morning, whether it was through tears, tantrums, depression, anxiety, fear, happiness, joy, whatever. I made the decision every day until one day the decision made me. That's
So it's great what you're saying, because it just gives everyone hope for the future. It's taken something really, really dramatic and losing everything for you to start moving forwards. You have attached it to a why, which is really, really important, because that's why we do what we do, and it's really important to know our why. So I think that's a great point that you have made there. I think a missing piece as well, what a lot of people that don't understand law of attraction and mindset and belief systems, they just think it doesn't work because they're under the illusion you just put thoughts in your mind, meditate, and everything comes to you. But like you have mentioned, Sheena, sometimes it takes tears, it takes hard work, and it takes a lot of action. When did you really start to notice a transformation, that the results that you were working towards, the new mindset that you were using, were starting to create a new reality? And share some of those little wins with us when things started to improve.
Well, really, this time last year, Mark, I couldn't have seen where I am today. I mean, I couldn't see it. But I was like a little girl tantruming, and I know people will recognize this, is that you almost like have a tantrum. It's not working. It's not fair. It's not fair. Why isn't it working for me? It's working for everybody else. I've done the work. Oh my God, I was incessant. And then whenever lockdown came last year, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because I was in a place that I was desperately trying to get out, and I realized that I couldn't get out of it. And I had to actually accept where I was. That was the release of the resistance to what I'd done to myself, what I felt I'd done to myself. And I released all resistance. I accepted. I became into complete gratitude that I was blessed to actually have a roof over my head. How blessed I was that my kids loved me no matter what. It didn't matter if I had a penny in my purse. Nothing mattered except for that love and that gratitude and that acceptance of I was already blessed with wherever I was. And then, Mark, like, you just wouldn't believe what happened, because it's like when I said about you keep making the decision every day, and then the decision makes you. And well, actually, first of all, I interviewed Bob Proctor from the place that I was in, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing. He's actually allowing me to interview him, even though I was one of his consultants. That doesn't happen. And so that was the first sign. And I visualized that, and it happened. Oh my goodness. And so I started to get just those little bits of hope. Well, we moved into this house on the 6th of June, and it was only 3 weeks before. So it was like the middle of May when I knew that this was available and it was happening, and nothing was going to stop it. I didn't even tell my partner. I told him the day before we were moving, by the way, we're moving house tomorrow. And he's like, what? I knew something was happening, but what's happening? I kept my focus. I would not talk to anybody about it, because what was very clear to me was that if I allowed my vibration, my energy to be rocked by anything in the outside world, that I could actually get in the way of this happening. So I kept my focus. I kept my blinkers on, and I just went forward. And we moved into this house. Now, I still beat myself up, Mark, at that stage, as if I still wasn't good enough. And it was only really 3 months in that I realized, you're in the house that you drew. I drew this house. I might actually even have the piece of paper here. I'll keep talking while and you never know, I might actually, here it is. Look at this. So I don't know if you can actually see that, but I drew the house. It's got everything on there. I drew that, and I sat there and I went, I don't just have room for 5 cars that I'd drawn. I have room for 10. I don't just have, like, the sun was even in the right place. The stables are over there. Wolfgang didn't have anybody to ride a bike with. He's now got plenty of people to ride bike with. My son was in the worst position that I'd ever seen him in. He eventually came to live with us. He has now changed everything. But this was all in my vision, Mark. I mean, but all that just started to happen. It was as if, remember what I said? I kept making the decision. And then one day the decision made me. So if we try to connect the dots going forward, we're just at a miss. We can't see them. We can only connect the dots looking back. And so I looked back and I went, oh my goodness. Look what happened. And yet I still didn't see it. But now I just spend every single day, it was my birthday last week, and the day was perfect. It was beautiful. We had a champagne breakfast, a champagne afternoon tea, champagne dinner. My kids were there. My granddaughter was there. and it was beautiful. I was in tears for most of the day in gratitude, complete gratitude.
You have touched on some great points there. First, accepting where you are. And as soon as you said that, Sheena, before the words came out of your mouth, in my head, I was thinking, accept where you are, but also being grateful for everything that you have in that very moment. And then you said it. Also, you mentioned the transformation over a 12-month period. Now, we both have done a lot in 12 months. We've both created such great things for ourselves over 12 months. And that is the problem sometimes with the law of attraction. People want it now, and sometimes it doesn't happen like that. There is a little pause where it takes that little bit longer. And like you mentioned, going back and connecting those dots, we can visualize the future, but you can't see that you were going to for sure get there, can you? You visualize it and feel it, but when you connect the dots looking backwards, that's when you can say, well, a year ago all of these things have come true. Now, you mentioned you have realized your dream house has come into fruition, and it just reminded me, Sheena, sometimes I'm on my dog walk, and that's where I do all my affirmations. I always say, why am I so healthy? Why am I so wealthy? Because when you ask the brain why, it finds the how. And sometimes I'll be walking and saying affirmations that I've said over and over. And it's really funny sometimes, because when you're saying them and you think, that one's come true, that one's come true. And that's when I always say, thank you, universe, because that is evidence that it's working. You are getting those results. So I think you have a fascinating story. Sheena, we're about to go to a commercial break, so stay with us. Thank you everyone for joining us on Brilliance Business TV Part 1. We're here with Sheena Cantar, Mindset Mentor. She has shared her personal story of being told she's not very academic, being told to just be a secretary, getting an IQ test that has shown that she's very, very intelligent, but then getting to the age of 48 years old and losing it all to then go on a world of personal development and self-improvement to not only transform her life, but to transform lots and lots of individuals and make them improve their health, their lifestyles, earn more money, create more abundance. Join us for part 2. Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. And we are here with the amazing Sheena Cantar, Mindset Mentor. She has shared her personal journey, the obstacles she has faced, losing everything aged 48, then to go on a journey of personal development and self-discovery and to create a whole new reality for herself. Sheena, welcome back.
Thank you. And I really like the pink and silver watch. I think I must have to go back and get one.
I will connect you with Craig. He has some amazing timepieces. They're absolutely incredible. So you have shared your journey with us in part 1. I want to know about your business, Sheena. Tell us more about what you do now and how you serve the world.
Well, one of the things that Bob has is he's got a 6-month program called Thinking into Results. And Bob knows himself that when people do, like they go to paradigm shifts, they do programs, but when you do things on your own, it's like it's an even lonelier journey than, like it's just a lonely journey trying to figure this all out. And whenever you've had somebody go through 12 steps that are literally proven, and it's not learning anything, Mark. It's actually drawing the wisdom from within to without. And whenever you actually do that, you're going to hit some obstacles. And I've been through them all. I've done this program 10 times. And I literally am bringing more and more stuff up that I didn't realize that was holding me back in the past. And so when people are bringing this stuff up, you get scared. And it's like you hit a wall and you bounce back. Well, I'm here to help you through that wall. Because it's that wall on the other side. That's your freedom. And so literally things come up. I say, that's normal. That's brilliant. Let me explain why. And it just handholds you through that journey. So Bob knows about that. But it literally is the 12 steps you want to be doing. I have read so many different books, studied so many different people, as you can imagine. And everything leads to these 12 steps. But when you think your answer's in the next book, it's in the next book, it's in the next book. Your answers, this is the last stop. I promise you, Mark, and I promised every single client who's come to me, I told you were coming here to get results. And my goodness, you're going to get some results. And that's it, end of story. So that's what you're here for. You're not here to get a piece of paper. That doesn't really make any difference. You can have a piece of paper if you want, but wouldn't you rather have results? Now, what results do you want, Mark? Is it to do with money? Is it to do with relationships? Generally, people come because it's about money, but then they find out very quickly that it's not about money at all. That, your business is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. But what have you been doing? 95% strategy and 5% if that mindset. Well, look at a hotel. If you take everybody out of the hotel, there's nothing there but a bricks and mortar. That's your business. You are your business. You get you right, the business gets right. You get you right, your relationships are right. You get you right, your health is right. And I have got evidence on every single level, Mark, of that work for myself, not just Bob's evidence. I mean, Bob has got like thousands of, evidence, but I have my own evidence as well. And that's what's really exciting.
I hear you, and it is true. Mindset is so important. And like you mentioned, everything that we desire is within us, and all those fears that are holding us back, it's all within us, and we can change that. Now, can you share with us what is a paradigm and how can we change our paradigm to have a paradigm shift?
And a paradigm is just basically your programming. I mean, you came here and you arrived in a body, which was actually pre-programmed from all your relationships. Your maybe great Aunt Betty had something happen in her life. Well, that's coming through the DNA and oops, you picked it up on it. Then whenever you're younger, your parents may have gone through, even whenever you were in your womb of your mum, if she was upset over money or relationships, then you picked up on that vibration. Then whenever you're a baby, goodness knows what was said around you. Like we all thought that when the babies were sleeping, sure, you could say what you wanted. No. Their minds are wide open and they hear everything and they feel everything. And then we go and program ourselves, Mark. Like we go and reaffirm, well, I'm not very good, so there's no point in me studying. I'm not very good, so I may as well just look out the window instead. So we then keep reaffirming our own programming. And then we hit more life situations, which then it's like what you call the thinker and the prover. You think something and then you go out and you actually prove it. So we keep reprogramming ourselves. Now, to change it, it's like, say you have a house that's got old wiring and you want to come along with new equipment and you want to upgrade it. And then you sort of go, well, like, this TV isn't working. You know that you need to upgrade the wiring. You wouldn't be doing it yourself, would you? Like, my goodness, you're going to get hurt. So you get an expert in and that you tell them what you want. They rewire the house. You can plug in your new stuff. And that's basically what we're doing is like, whenever on your mobile phone, If it says there's a system upgrade, you would never not upgrade, would you? You're there ready and you have upgraded your phone. This is what you do to yourself. You upgrade your system. Now, to change a paradigm, there's two ways, either an emotional impact. Some people have that. In fact, one guy actually stopped smoking because his friend died from a smoking related disease. He didn't sleep that night. The next day, he couldn't touch a cigarette. That's an emotional impact on a positive sense. It tends to be negative, but there you go. But the other way is repeated affirmations, just like you were talking about there. But one thing I want to just really help people with, because you can repeat affirmations. Like I would walk up and down the road at 5 o'clock in the morning, Mark, going, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. That's not working. It's not working. You've got to feel it. You've got to get it into your subconscious, because that's just 2% saying it. You've got to feel it. You've got to see it. It's got to be in every single cell of your body, but it mustn't come from want. If you want the goal, you're going to push it away. You've got to know you've already got it. And this is the work we want to teach you, is that you have everything you want. I love the words of Bob Proctor. He says, you wouldn't want it if it wasn't already yours. How amazing is that? But can you believe it? Well, that's a journey that we take you on.
You have touched on some great points. Programming, a lot of it does come from our childhood, and some of it you have to dig deep to realise some of those programs are holding you back, and you really do have to go inwards. And some of these fears and programs, you don't realise that they're there. You really do have to dig bit deep. Also, you mentioned the power of repetition. It's so important. Self-hypnosis, meditation, you don't just listen once, you do it over and over, because success is repetition. And I was going to touch on something else. You drawed your dream house. That's another great way to program the subconscious mind. The mind works on pictures. So when you're drawing, and you can use colour, pictures, using text all on a page, that's using the creative part of your mind and pictures. So it goes straight into the subconscious mind. Sheena, I love what you are doing in the world, and you are really passionate about it. What do your clients look like? Who do you normally work with?
Well, business professionals. I mean, you've already studied this stuff. In fact, generally, you know a lot. You know a lot. Like, you know it intellectually. Maybe you've done the spiritual work as well, but you're just missing the results. There's something not quite, like a little gap. There's something that we can't close. You know what to do, but you're not doing it. Or maybe you're doing it and you're not getting the results. So you will be somebody who's got a goal in mind, or you're just at the end of your tether and that's it. End of story. I've had enough. Something needs to be changed. You've really got to that point where it has to happen. End of story. And generally I do have business. They are business professionals. And so we have somebody who's in corporate, who basically after wanted to leave his job for 20 years. Can you believe 20 years? And within 6 months, he's left his job and he's now earning his annual salary monthly. So basically it's people, if you're in a corporate job and you're like, how do I get out? How do I really live my dreams? But now I have another girl who's actually in the NHS. Now she is just growing and changing the world around her. Her vision is to change that culture and those paradigms within the NHS. But she's also running a network marketing company, and she is just getting every flipping level like that. It is unbelievable. I have another girl who couldn't get pregnant, Mark. This is just a beautiful story. For 2 years, she couldn't get pregnant. And she said she was going to try IVF. And I went, you don't need IVF. You need alignment with who you are. I promise you. And Mark, within 2 weeks, she was pregnant. Had nothing to do with it, by the way. Nothing to do with me.
I just love a success story, and it's just so fulfilling that you're transforming the individuals' lives around you whilst building a better future for yourself. There's nothing more rewarding than that, Sheena. Now, you have a free gift and a webinar. Tell our audience a little bit about that.
Yes, it's really hard to try and get everything into just a half an hour, even though I can talk fast. I'm very good at that. So I've done a webinar and it's a whole hour long, and it's like your GPS to success. It helps you actually see some of the paradigms that you're facing right now. And some people have had amazing shifts from watching that webinar. Let me tell you, Mark, the conversations that I have with people. There's also a free gift. If you wait to the end of the webinar, there's a free gift there as well. So feel free to go to my website, click on it and join me. And well, yeah, just join me.
Who doesn't want to move forwards, create abundance, create more happiness and success in their lives? And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there who could do with some help and support with this last year that we have all been through. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and there's no better time than now to start working on self-improvement and self-development. Go to www.sheenacantar.com/opt-in-JIT. Am I getting that right?
That's right. Don't ask me why. There's a whole procedure behind that.
Now, Sheena, I want to finish the show today with a few tips for our audience so they get some real value so that they can get started straight away. So can you just leave us with 3 of your top tips for mindset and creating more abundance?
Well, the first thing is really to have that vision. I know people have vision boards, but the vision boards can still just be mental. It really is about just imagine if, and I want you to go out of real world. I want you to go to fantasy land. There's a whole reason about that. Like if I said to you that I was a warrior unicorn princess, I mean, people laugh at that, but I say, look, you're laughing. Didn't that raise you up? Didn't it make you feel lighter? Who would you like to be? And it sounds silly, but I want you to feel the feeling that you feel when you do stuff like that to yourself. So when we try to work our goals, oh, let me do this goal. Oh, let me do that. That's hard work. When you can come from an energy that's up here, Mark, and look down, we can make 1 million look small. We can make 30,000 look small because we have the energy that's up here. We are vibration itself. We are energy itself. Who are you tuning into? Are you tuning into your problems? Or are you tuning into a vibration that is just magical and feels good? Then walk around your day doing all your work in that feeling. Now, that's probably the hardest thing people will do. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But it's not the great things we do, Mark. It's the little things we do in a great way. That is what will change. And then I'm only looking for 51%. Just tip the odds in your favor. Don't beat yourself up. You're like a little child learning to walk again. And you would never shout at a child for falling down. You would say, get back up. Do this with your emotional body. So literally find something that makes you smile. Feel the vibration of it. Feel the energy of it. And see how many times in a day you can get there. That's your job. That could transform worlds. Don't just do it for a day, though. The science behind this shows it can take up. It shows it can take between 8 and 284 days to change a habit. Are you willing to do that for 284 days? You better make sure it's attached to a good why.
What a great way to close the show, Sheena. And like you mentioned, when you're in alignment, you feel amazing. You feel in alignment. When you're out of alignment, you don't feel good. And it's just about listening to those inner guidance systems. Sheena, thank you so much for being on the Brilliance Business TV show.
Can I just say one more thing? I know we're nearly finished, but it's just, if it feels bad, it's a lie. If it feels good, it's the truth.
Even better. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you once again, Sheena, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's
my pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV. We have been joined with the amazing Sheena Cantar, mindset mentor. She has shared her personal journey, going from being told she should be a secretary to losing everything at 48 years old, to drawing her dream house and ending up living in her dream house even better than what she has drawn. She has shared about her business and how she is supporting others. Thank you for joining us on the Brilliance Business TV show. Until next time, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.